Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Marley and I read a lot. Today I'm going to be continuing my little vlog series where I read 3 books that are super hyped up in different genres. So far I've done romance and fantasy, so make sure to go check those out in the description or in the cards. Today I'm going to be taking on the genre of thriller books where I'm going to read 3 pretty hyped thriller books or thriller authors. So I'm a really big fan of thrillers, so this isn't too much of an experiment. I know in the past with the romance books, I was sort of trying to figure out what types of romance books I liked and sort of testing that out. Today, I know that I enjoy thriller books, so it's not too much of an experiment, but I want to dive into these 3 books and just vlog my week and let you guys know what I think about these books. So the first one I have is One by One by Ruth Ware. I recently read Ruth Ware's other book, Turn of the Key, and I really loved that one. So I'm very excited to dive into another one of her books. If you can tell by the title, One by One, this book is about a group of people who are kind of like stuck in this isolated situation and they start getting killed off one by one. So I'm really excited to see where this one goes and try and guess who the killer is. The other book I want to read is The Good Daughter by Karin. So far I've only read Pretty Girls by Karin and I loved it. This is the only other Karin book I've really heard people talk about, so I'm very excited to get into this and I hope it is just as good as Pretty Girls. From the description it sounds pretty similar as it follows sisters and it deals with like a past crime and a current crime, and the description is a little bit convoluted, so I'll definitely be sure to tell you guys more about this one once I get into it. The last book I don't have a physical copy of, but it is Riley Sager's book Final Girls. Again, I read some of Riley's other books and I really enjoyed them. So I believe this is actually his first book he ever wrote, and I think it is about a group of girls who have all somehow survived their own massacres. So basically all of them were the final girls, and now I think someone is killing off these final girls, maybe some sort of like revenge. Again, I'll tell you guys more about this one once I get into it, but very excited. So stick around and see what I think of these books. Also, while I'm here talking to you guys, I'm just gonna mention, please subscribe. Would love to hit 200 subs, and I'm uploading bookish videos every single week, so you don't want to miss it. And without further ado, let's just get into the reading vlog. How y'all doing? I reached about 100 pages into One by One by Ruth Ware, so thought I would check in with you guys. I'm definitely enjoying it. I think this is going to be a really quick read. What is this book about? As I sort of hinted towards, we are following a group of people who work for this business, and the business is an app that is called Spoop. Spoop? Yeah, so Snoop. Snoop. It's an app that gives you the ability to creep people or snoop on them on Spotify. So you can see what people are listening to and then listen to the same thing, which honestly, I feel like this app is irrelevant. Like, I'm pretty sure on Spotify, you can see what your friends are listening to already. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not, you know, a Spotify connoisseur over here, but I'm pretty sure like if you're friends with someone, you can see what they're listening to. So this app isn't really the best, but you get the idea. In the beginning, we get introduced to all of these different characters. There's like, you know, the CEOs, their assistants, the accounting guy, the like coding guy, the marketing people, blah. Those are all of our main characters, and then they are going to this ski resort for like a company getaway, company meeting. However, our 2 main characters that we get the POV from, one of them is this girl who actually is not currently employed at Snoop, but she used to be, and there's sort of like a mystery of why is she being included on this trip, which I already know that, but I just won't say it for the sake of spoilers. Then our other POV that we're getting is a woman who works at the ski resort. So their 2 names are Liz and then Erin. So those are our only 2 POVs, and honestly, the fact that we have both of their points of view, I'm gonna just say it, they are the 2 people who I am most suspicious of, especially the girl who works at the ski resort, because I'm kind of like, why is she even getting a point of view? Like, why is she important? Besides giving us like a third party objective point of view, maybe that's what they're going for, like she's just watching this group interact, but I don't think so. I think she might be involved somehow, and that's gonna be the twist. Hopefully I'm not spoiling anything if that is what ends up happening. But I just want to let you know now, that is what I'm thinking. I also don't fully trust our main character who used to work for Snoop, named Liz. I don't know. I trust her a little bit more, but yeah. Basically, no one has died yet, so I can't really have any like theories about motives or who the killer is really, except obviously, well, you do kind of find out what the motive is. It has to do with like money, as you can imagine, with it being a business. So that's the main thing with the plot. Obviously, they're going to get like snowed in at the ski resort, and they're already having Wi-Fi issues and stuff like that. But I really like it. As I said, it's a very quick read. I feel like I flew through these first 100 pages, and I probably will fly through the rest. That is something good about it. Yeah, it just makes you want to keep reading. However, cannot really speak to how the plot's gonna go or if it's gonna be a good twist or a good mystery, but I am intrigued thus far. Alright, I'm 200 pages in now. There's been a multitude of deaths / disappearances of characters, so it's really ramped up. It's very fun, you know, with each sort of reveal of one of the characters being dead and all the other characters freaking out, and you know, they're blaming each other and turning on each other and just trying to figure out who the killer is among them, because it has to be one of them, because they have all gotten snowed in the building as anticipated, with no reception, no power, nothing. So love the setting, love the isolated setting. Don't really have a theory of who I think the killer is. As I said, I do think the two girls we're hearing from are suspicious. I don't know, I'm almost getting less suspicious of them as we go on. Like, I'm not really seeing why or like what their motive would be. So really don't have a theory. I know a lot of people say that it gets very obvious. I'm not sure at what point it gets obvious, because I'm over halfway, so hopefully I'm not just like really dumb and missing something huge, but maybe it will get revealed soon. But yeah, so far I don't know why there were any negative reviews. I think it's been a very classic whodunit sort of situation, and yeah, it's going well. Hey guys, so I have finished my first book of the week, and it was of course One by One by Ruth Ware. I think I'm going to give this one a 4 stars. It definitely was not my favorite thriller ever, but it was okay. It was pretty decent. I think when I left off, I was saying I wasn't really sure where the book was going. There had been some deaths, and like it was just a fun time. I think last time I checked in was probably like the best part of the book, where you're like speculating on like who it is and waiting to see who gets murdered next. But quickly after that, I came across what a lot of people critiqued this book about, which is that you find out the killer very early on. I would say I had maybe a third left of the book, maybe less than a third, but we already did find out who the like killer was, and we just weren't 100% sure of the motives. So then the motive mystery sort of became the main mystery, and at first I was like, okay, I don't mind this, like this is still pretty good even though we already know who the killer is. But then I do feel like that last bit did drag on a little. It was pretty creepy. Like last night I was pretty creeped out going to bed. If you guys don't know, I get very creeped out when I read thriller books and when I'm like home alone and I have to go to bed. So there were some moments of just like creepiness, and then I just, as I said, felt like it got dragged on. There was sort of like action at the end, and like I was just kind of over at that point. I'm like, okay, I know who the killer is, I basically know the motive, like let's wrap this up. And then we like kept having our like falling action / conclusion that I was like waiting for some sort of extra twist at the end, and minor spoiler alert, there isn't one. I guess no, you should be aware of it. Like, don't expect some great twist at the very end like a lot of thrillers will have. So that's why this book is just like average for me. I definitely preferred Ruth Ware's Turn of the Key more, so I almost wanted to give this lower than a 4, but I just don't think that would be right, because I do think it was a very fun, quick read, especially for the first 2/3 of the book, first 3/4, whatever that math is. So that's my thoughts on this first book. I feel like the next two are gonna be better. I hope they are anyways. So maybe next I'll hop into The Good Daughter, which I have just behind me there, and I'll let you guys know what I think and give you my little synopsis once I have started it. I'm 10 pages in and this is really freaking boring. Like, it's a flashback at the beginning and I'm hating it. I'm hating it, and the section's so long, I just checked. And I'm really hungry, but I've had like multiple snacks. but I'm still hungry. Okay, I just got to page 25 and it is already super graphic. Karin Slaughter's other book, Pretty Girls, was graphic, but not until later in the book, and like not exactly like this. This is pretty graphic right off the bat. Just be aware of that. It's definitely difficult to read, so hopefully it doesn't get worse than this. Hey everyone, so I've actually made progress in The Good Daughter. I'm at page 200, so almost halfway. I wanted to give like an actual update now, not my little like in the moment thoughts. We start off, as I sort of said, with a big flashback to when our main characters were teenagers or like preteens, and it's a long freaking chapter. Like I think it was 40 pages, and it wasn't even a chapter actually, it was like the prologue kind of thing, and it was 40 chapters. So that's why I was saying that I was hating it because it was like dragging on and a little boring at first, and then something really terrible happens, and it's very violent and it's very awful what happens to these characters. So it does result in the mother dying, and it's a very traumatizing event for our two sisters. Then we skip forward 28 years, and that's when, you know, we're actually starting the book, chapter 1. Each chapter is very long. Personally, I prefer short chapters because I feel like I'm getting through it quicker. There's more times to take breaks more often. I don't know, so that's been kind of annoying me. Like, I'm almost halfway through the book, as I said, and I'm on chapter 7. Like, that's not very many chapters considering we're almost halfway through the book, so you can see what I mean. However, we are following the younger sister, Charlie. Oh, to give actually a little background, the dad of this family is this lawyer, and basically he defends all the criminals that you would not want to defend, like all the murderers, the rapists, the like terrible people. So not many people like him. Anyways, Charlie grows up to also become a lawyer. She's clearly very close with the dad, like taking in his footsteps. But we're following her, and she's having some marriage issues, and she gets into this current crime. She gets involved in this like a current crime that happens. So we are dealing with that in our present day. And I don't know if the two crimes are going to be connected, the one from the past, the one from the present. I know that certainly is the case in a lot of books. I only assume that that will also happen in here, that the two crimes will be linked somehow. Yeah, that's basically the premise. It's definitely not as quick of a read as One by One was. As I said, I do feel like it's kind of dragging a little. However, I do think that it's good. We're just getting a lot of setup right now, but I definitely see how this book could get really good. Like, I feel like there's a lot of potential places it could go. However, I do feel like there's potential for it to get graphic again. So I don't look forward to whenever that happens, but I just assume that it will. But yeah, there's definitely some suspicious things going on here. I honestly don't really know what else to say. So I'm moving, and I've been pretty busy packing. So that's a life update for me. I have moved location, and I am in my new apartment right now, spending the night. You can see my new bookshelf behind. I'll have to do some sort of like bookshelf organization video or something. This is my boyfriend's bookshelf. We are actually moving tomorrow, so I'm just spending the night here. But anyways, oh, hopefully it's not too echoey. So The Good Daughter, I haven't been wanting to do a lot of updates just because like not a lot of action is happening. I am on chapter 14, page 378, and the chapters are still so long, guys. Like, it's really rough. This book has finally got me. I think I am quite into it now. I guess I'm starting to not mind the long chapters as much. I've really enjoyed reading from the second sister's point of view, and she's getting more involved in the plot. But I will say it's not really very thriller-ish. It's very much reading just like a normal book, kind of like a normal like crime or like law book, because as I think I said, the dad is a lawyer and the two sisters are lawyers, and they're dealing with this like court case in present day, and that is very much the center of it. So I would really only recommend this if you guys are into like books about lawyers and like court cases and stuff, because I think some people aren't into that, and it's not really creepy at all. Still, I'm guessing there might be like some sort of action scene at the end that's sort of more like thriller action. I don't know. Yeah, it's a pretty like chill read so far. We're getting a lot of like backstory for like the characters. It's definitely very like character driven, I guess. A lot of thrillers like don't have a lot of development for their characters because they're normally so focused on like the plot and the mystery. This one is very focused on the characters. So if you like more of a character driven story, then you would probably like this. I'm just very interested to know what the heck happened in this like present day mystery. I'm waiting for there to be a connection to the past crime against this family, but we'll still have to see. But yeah, I haven't really had that much to say, so I feel kind of bad, but hopefully I'll have more to say when I actually finish this, which hopefully will be tonight, because I'm just here alone at the new apartment. We don't have our Wi-Fi hooked up here yet, so there's really nothing else to do but read. So I finished The Good Daughter by Karin, and I think I'm also going to give this thriller 4 stars, maybe 4.5. As I said, the reason that I think I didn't enjoy it fully is that it is just such a slow moving thriller. I will say the last 100 pages have the twist, have the action. I also want to mention definitely a lot of trigger warnings for sexual assault. As I said, not too much happened throughout a lot of it. There definitely were those graphic moments, so it wasn't like a ton of them. I feel like Pretty Girls probably, I don't know. Actually, I was gonna say Pretty Girls might have had more graphic moments. I'm not sure. This one didn't have that many, but the ones that were there were pretty bad. I definitely struggled reading a moment that was closer to the end in a flashback, I'll say, as like a warning for you if you guys read it. But then we got into like a lot of twists that had to do with, you know, present day things going on, and I definitely liked the twists. Didn't really expect them, although looking back I feel like you could maybe like figure some of them out potentially. Like there were some hints, but pretty decent twists, so that's why I rated this pretty highly. So both of these thrillers are 4 stars. There you have it. Definitely different types of thrillers. Like, I even hesitate to call this a thriller. As I already said in previous updates, it wasn't super thrilling. So now I am really excited to go on to the Riley Sager book, because I really just adored Home Before Dark, and Lock Every Door I also did like. Not sure when I will start that. As I've already mentioned, I am moving tomorrow, and so that's gonna be pretty hectic, and then I'll be unpacking and all that stuff. But I really want to finish up this vlog in the next couple of days, so I will let you guys know when I start Final Girls. Maybe I'll show you a little bit of my moving, since this is a vlog, so you know, I'll give you an insight to my life. Maybe I'll be too stressed, I don't know. Either way, I'll see you in the next clip. So as you saw, we successfully have moved into our new place. This is one of my bookshelves. I also have one in the living room that I'm sure you'll see at some point. The move went well, if you were wondering. But I've been reading Final Girls now. I think I'm about like 30% through, so I thought I would do an update and a little synopsis of what's happened so far. So we're following our main character, Quincy. I think it's been like 10 years or so since she became a final girl. She was hanging out with her friends at this cabin, and then there was like a murder spree, and this man killed all of her friends, and she was the last one left surviving, making her a final girl. So of course she's kind of like famous for that. There's also 2 other final girls that survived their own massacres that happened even before Quincy, and so they all are just known as the final girls. They're all very well known, and they sort of have this like bond because they're the only ones who know what it's like to survive something like that. So the interesting thing about Quincy's situation is that she does not remember anything about the massacre. Like, she just remembers, I think, the guy like coming in, and then she just remembers getting away. She doesn't remember anything in the middle. So that's what I find interesting, because I'm like, what's the twist? Like, what happened in that time that she cannot remember? There's gotta be some sort of twist to it, because we know who the killer was. Like, he was killed, he was stopped. So I'm curious about what happened in the middle there. Anyways, in current time, one of the final girls actually has passed away. Quincy is really upset about that, and there's definitely suspicious things about the way this girl was killed. It seems like it was a suicide, but to me, I'm guessing it was not a suicide. And right now, she's the only one that has died. This other final girl and Quincy are still alive. Yeah, I assume that eventually this second final girl will get killed, and then Quincy will be the last one standing. Right now, it's not super thriller-ish. Like, I feel like I'm just reading like a normal book right now. It hasn't really gotten scary or thrilling at all. Our main character is a baker, which I feel like I'm so over that trope of like the main character baking. Like, I'm kind of like tired of that hobby. Laura Jean's the only one I care about hearing about their recipes. Everyone else. But we are getting flashbacks to the cabin with Quincy, so it's gonna be one of those things where we find out what happened in the past as we go. Not too much to report. As I said, it's not super thrilling right now, but there is something about Riley Sager's writing that is really enjoyable. So I'm definitely enjoying it, but I kind of want like the action to pick up now. I guess I'm only 30% through, so like, makes sense. The action hasn't really started, but like, I'm very much looking forward to seeing where this is going to go. In terms of theories, I don't think this is a spoiler because I obviously don't know where it's gonna go, but I'm suspicious of Quincy's boyfriend. Don't really have many reasons to have suspicion of him, but just want to throw it out there that I am suspicious of her boyfriend in case anything happens and like he's behind anything. So I haven't been great about updating on Final Girls, but I got to 66%, and I don't know, I definitely do think this is Riley Sager's worst book so far, which makes sense because, as I said, I think it's his first one, but it's just not going the way that I pictured it to go. It's a little bit different, and I feel like they're making people who are suspicious like very obvious. So I am interested to see what's going to happen because there's like two people I'm very like suspicious of, but the book is making you suspicious. Like, I don't think it's gonna be like, it wouldn't be a shock if they ended up having like bad intentions or like being evil or whatever. I don't know, I kind of have mixed feelings right now. I think it would be like a 3 or a 4. I think it will really depend on the ending, and I'm not really liking our main character. This definitely has to be like my least favorite main character from Riley Sager. Yeah, I mean, spoiler alert, she is one of the people I'm suspicious of, but yeah, we'll see. I haven't really been updating because I don't really know what to say, but it's just going different than I pictured it to, and I'm not really sure where it's gonna go, honestly. All right, here we are at the end of the video. I'm in front of my boyfriend's bookshelf because, I don't know, this is where I want to do the update. We have finally reached the end of the video. This has taken longer than I thought it would, just with all of the moving stuff. It's been pretty hectic over here, but what are my final thoughts on Final Girls? Well, I think I would give it about a 3-star rating, maybe 3.5, just because I really do enjoy Riley Sager's writing, but you can definitely tell this is his first book. It was pretty predictable. I think I mentioned that already. I did end up appreciating a twist that happened at the end. Thank God there was that twist, but even looking back on it, like, it was still kind of a predictable twist, even though I didn't personally let myself go there in my head. I feel like many people probably would have figured it out. And then, just as I said, like, some of the characters being like unlikable and stuff like that, sometimes that can be a fun time. But yeah, I don't know if I was just very distracted when reading this book, which I think I was, and I think that might have affected my opinions of it. But when I looked at some other people's reviews, I saw that a lot of people did give this 2 stars. So I don't think it's just me. I think this genuinely was not the best book, but I would say if you do like Riley Sager's other books, maybe just read it anyway, like me, to try and like read his whole backlist. If you have not read any Riley Sager yet, definitely recommend going in the order of like his oldest book to his newest, so you can see them get better. I did not do that, and I started with like his best books, and now I'm going back, and I think that is like not the best strategy. So basically, what is the order of my enjoyment of these books. I think The Good Daughter by Karin was easily the best book. I gave it 4 stars along with One by One. So honestly, both books were very good. They were just very much different types of thrillers. So as I said, the Karin Slaughter one was more of like a slow build up. It had more like character depth to it, and the thriller aspect was more so like the violence and stuff that the characters experience, and then there is a bit of a mystery and reveal at the end. One by One was very much that like quick, easy to read thriller, not really as much character development, and more of that like, oh, characters are getting killed left and right and who is the killer. And then Final Girls, I don't even know how to describe what kind of thriller this was. It was somewhere in between those two. It did have that like character focus, and the mystery was just not quite up to par, so that's why it has to have that like 3-star rating. So I guess maybe I should check out more of Karin Slaughter or Ruth Ware's books, even though I'm pretty sure I've read both of their best books at this point. But if you guys have not read any of their thrillers, definitely check out Karin Slaughter and Ruth Ware, Pretty Girls and The Good Daughter by Karin Slaughter, and then Turn the Key and One by One by Ruth Ware. Really recommend those 4 books. As for Riley Sager, don't overly recommend Final Girls, but definitely do recommend Home Before Dark and Lock Radar, which are the other books I've read. So that concludes this video. Now that I've settled into my apartment a little more, I definitely want to get back into doing more videos. I feel like I've been so out of it for the past week, so definitely expect more videos coming up. I want to do more vlogs, especially now that I'm in this like nicer apartment. Don't know if anyone can tell if you compare my previous videos to this right here, but this is actually natural lighting coming in. I don't have to use my ring light. Yeah, very excited to film more videos in this apartment. So make sure to subscribe if you have not already, and let me know your thoughts on these thrillers if you've read them, and maybe let me know what your favorite thriller is, because always looking for more thrillers. I really do enjoy this genre. I wish we could have got a 5-star from this video, because I feel like I give a lot of thrillers 5 stars, but this year 2021 is just not a 5-star year for me. So we'll see. Keep watching to see if I get more 5-star books. Anyways, thank you guys, and I'll just see you in my next video coming very soon.